All right, welcome to Sewing a Stuffie. Isn't this one cute? The first thing you are going to want to do is get a scrap piece of paper, even in your sketchbook is fine, and make a sketch of what you want your stuffie to look like. Just a quick sketch is fine. Stop what you're doing and make a quick sketch of your stuffie. So now what you're going to do is you are going to get a blank piece of paper, and if you want your stuffie to be the same on both sides, this is a little trick. Fold it in half, and you're going to draw only half of your stuffie on that piece of paper. So it's just like this. When you are done drawing, what you're going to do is to cut out you only have half of it, so just cut out half of it, and when you open it, it will be the same on both sides. So obviously, if you don't want your stuffie to be the exact same thing on both sides, then don't do it this way. But what we're basically doing is we're making a template in paper, and then you're going to use that template, put it on a piece of felt, and trace around it. So as you see, I finished cutting this out right here, and when I open it up, it will be my little alien monster, the same on both sides. So this is what I want you to do right now. Stop this video, go get a blank piece of paper, and fold it in half if you want, and draw an outline of exactly the correct shape that you want your stuffie to be. Okay, so you've got your paper template right here. The next thing you need to do is to get two pieces of felt, one for the front and one for the back. Now, if you're looking for a big piece of felt, you are going to need to ask me for one of those. If you need a smaller piece, you can look in the scrap box. So you want to arrange your template right in the middle of the felt, and you are going to very carefully trace around it with a marker. You're going to get your second piece of felt, and you're going to do the exact same thing on the second piece. Stop this video and trace your template onto two pieces of felt. Okay, and you've got your two beautiful pieces right there. The next thing that you are going to do is you are going to very carefully cut them out with a pair of scissors. So stop this video and cut out both pieces with scissors. Now, if you look really carefully, you can see that there are black marks where the marker was on the felt, and you want to make sure that those are turned around so that you can't see them when your piece is finished. So you're going to arrange one on top of the other, make sure that they match up pretty well. And the next thing you're going to do is you are going to figure out what do you want to add, what kind of details do you want to add to the front. So play around with it. Envision what it is going to look like with maybe some buttons, maybe a face or some details added with embroidery thread. Maybe you can make a few sketches of it if you want. But that is the next step. So once you've decided what kind of details it is that you want to add, you can go ahead and do that. Stop what you're doing and sew on some really cool details. Okay, so once you're finished embellishing the front of your stuffie, and you can see the back doesn't look very nice, but it doesn't matter because it's all going to be covered up. So what we are going to do now is we are going to put the two pieces together and prepare them to be sewn together. Now what we need to do is we need to attach it together with some pins so they don't move around while we are sewing. So once you've put the two sides together, what you want to do is push a pin all the way through to the other side and then kind of move it so it's at a 90-degree angle. Watch your finger at this part and push it all the way through. I'm going to do it one more time. Just watch carefully. You push it all the way through both sides of the fabric and then move it so it's at a 90-degree angle. Watch out for your thumb, and then boom, push it all the way through. And this will keep everything nice and secure for when you start sewing them together. Please stop what you're doing, put the two sides together, and use some pins to secure them. Okay, so now comes the sewing part. What you're going to do is get some embroidery thread or embroidery floss. The amount that you should get is just the length of your body, just like in my picture here. And I do want to bring your attention to the whip stitch, which is the stitch that's going around these circles here. Look at number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. It should be your goal to get a 3 or a 4, and you're going to be able to do that by really slowing down and being super patient as you're sewing. So stop what you're doing and get an arm's length worth of embroidery floss and thread your needle. It is time to begin sewing. So make sure that you have a knot at the end of your embroidery floss, and you are just going to do a running stitch very slowly and carefully all around your stuffy, making sure to stop in places that it might be tricky to add some stuffing. So you'll notice that I went all the way around, but then I stopped right above the head so that I could add some stuffing in there. And I'm also going to stop at the bottom. So I stuffed it right there. I'm going to add a needle in there to hold it secure so that I can continue sewing around the top. Go ahead and stop and start with your whip stitch around the side of your stuffy. Okay, so here we go. We've done a whip stitch all the way around. I added a little bit of stuffing at the top, and now is where we are going to finish off our stitch. So notice I didn't leave it so I have a tiny bit of thread. I actually have a bit of thread, and I'm going back underneath one of my stitches and then through the loop. So I have a nice little knot there, through the loop again. So I have a nice little knot to finish off, and then I'm going to cut it with my scissors, and then I'm going to stuff the entire thing through the hole that I left at the bottom. Okay, so I'm stuffing it really carefully. Sometimes people like to use a marker or something long to poke it all in there to get it in the nooks and crannies. And here is what it looked like when I'm completely done. I can't wait to see what yours looks like.